Hello guys, welcome to Blue Tech Empire Python tutorials, and in this video we are going to be looking at Python lists. Um, Python lists are quite similar to Python strings because they are iterable. It means they are all iterables. Their items can be iterated over, but the quite difference between lists and strings is Python lists are not mutable, while strings are immutable. If you want to understand more about mutability and immutability, you can check our video or the video I made on mutability and immutability and the garbage collector. That is going to be very important if you need to understand the meaning of or the difference between stuff like lists and tuples, for example, or lists and strings when it comes to assigning values or replacements. So let's move into the video. Mm, let's see. So now we are going to be looking at Python lists. Python lists are very similar to strings in the way, like I told you, it's a sequence of items. In strings, we have a sequence of characters, but in Python lists, we have a sequence of items or variables. So let's move to the let's read the text. It said lists are the most versatile of Python's compound data type. A list contains items separated by comma and enclosed within square brackets. We can start. We have we can exit this. We can exit this and we can say let's clear up everything and let's get back into Python. So you can see um, it's simple. We see Python. An example of a list, let's say we have list one. Remember, don't say list equals to something because you're going to replace the inbuilt list function. List has an inbuilt function and you don't want to replace it. If you assign something else to list, it's going to replace the inbuilt list function. That's why I always write list one or list something or even L1 equals to, you can have a list. A list can have numbers. It can have even decimal point numbers. It can even contain strings. It can even contain another list. It can even contain a tuple. We'll see tuple later. It can contain a tuple. It can contain a set. We'll see about set later. It can contain a set, and it can even contain a dictionary. It can contain a dictionary. Uh, So it's just to show you, this stuff is just to show you a list is actually versatile. It means it can contain all kinds of data sets within it. So you've seen this list has both numbers. It can even contain boolean, that's true or false. So now we say a list, as you can see, this is an example of a list. This one may be too complex for you. So let me just write a simple list for you so you can understand 2, 3, 6, and maybe true. So maybe one complex number 4 plus 3j. So we just want to show you a list must not have variables of the same type like other programming languages. For example, you may think a list just need to have true for only integers or only floats or only numbers. No, a list can, in Python, list can have a mixture of any data type within it, even a list. You can, for example, here we have 3 integers, one boolean, and one complex number. So here we can print L2, or we can say print L2, and there we go. We have a list. So in Python, that's what you call a list. So like we said, lists are similar to string because we can also use the index operator with them, the repetition operator with them. We can use the slice operator with them. So you can try to check out the video on strings to see how we did it with strings. If you check up that video, or if you already know how to operate strings, then you're halfway or almost 3/4 way gone with lists. Yeah, so the only difference you need to know is that you can't replace the index of a string. For example, if you have str1, sorry, str1 equal to hello, you can say, you can change, for example, L here. You can extract the value of a string. For example, you can extract the value of, say, at index 2, but you can't replace it. Say you can say str2, let's say str1 2 is equal to, let's say, ish. It's going to complain. Oh, sorry, it's equal to ish. You're going to complain extra object does not support item assignment. This is because a string is immutable. But like you see, we have list 2. We can change, we can assign a value. Let's get first L2. Let's get the item on the second index or the third. It's true. We can change it to false. Let's say L2 3 should be equal to false. And let's print L2 now. Let's print L2. As you can see, we printed L2, and from what you can see, we have what we expected. It prints false here. We converted this value from true to false. So lists are mutable, which means you can change their value, but strings are not mutable. You cannot change any character within a string once you have created it. You can create a new string, but you cannot change characters within the string. So I just wanted you to understand that, so let's look at more examples on lists. So let's read from here. So the value stored in the list can be accessed using the index operator like I did here, and you can also use the slice operator like we're going to be seeing later on with the index starting at 0. Yeah, so the slice operator is let's look at list 1. Now let's say we want to create another list that only extracts 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we know we are going to use the index operator 4. So let's say, for example, to use the index operator with list, let's say we want to extract the second item. Indexes start from 0. If you have not watched the video on string, you can watch it. That's the video before this one. I explained the index operator, or I'm going to do a run through just so you understand properly. So um, for lists, index operator, for example, if you want to extract the first item, we say is 1, 0. In Python, indexes start from 0. If you want to extract the second item, you say list 1, 1. You go to the second item. If you want to extract the third item, you say list 1, 2. You see it's hello. Now, if you want to extract items from, let's say the last item, you go to list 1. Let me see if I have a diagram on that. All right, I don't have a diagram on that. You see, but just like strings, these are similar to strings. Like yourself with strings, indexes start from 0 and end at the length of the string minus 1. For example, if the length of the string is 22, you should know the last index is going to be 21. Now, if you should also know indexes can also start from -1. -1 is the last item, and you start having -2, -3 right up to the first item. In this case, you can, if a string is 21, its last negative index that's the first item, is at -22, because indexes, if a string length is 22 characters, you can be assured that its last index is -22 because it starts actually from -1. So let's look at that with Python. Now let's find the length of this string, the length of okay, let's find the length using the inbuilt function length of L1. Let's find L1 is 7. It means it has 7 items. Now if you want to access the last item, it's very simple. We can just say L1. We know if it has 7 items, the last item is 6 because it starts from index 0. So we can say L1 6, and it returns all the last item, which is a dictionary. We are going to learn dictionary later. but and you can see the last item here is it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items are separated by commas. So the last item is there, is here, 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 here. You can see it's at position 7 because we start from 0. If you start from, let me say, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's at 7, but since we start from 0, it's at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why if you say L16, it returns us the last item. Now if we say L12, it's going to give us the third item, which is 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, sorry, the third item, yes, which is the string hello. So you can use the index operator to extract the item from any list, any position in the list. For example, you can say dict1 dict1 is equals to L1, I think 6. So if you print dict1, print dict1, dict1, you see it's dict1 equals to L1 5. You print dict1, you have, all right. So I mean, sorry, it's a set anyway, but this is just a variable name, so whatever. So if you put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to actually access dict1, I think it's 6. All right. So if you print dict1 now, yeah. So you see we are the sixth item. So I'm running low on battery, so just checking my batteries. All right, so we can see that clearly. Yeah, so there's no problem with that. Now let's see how we can slice through. Maybe you want to create another list that has items of list one. Let's print list one again, so we see it down here. L1. All right, so 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's print another list that contains just items from list 1 to, let's say, items from the list, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 items. So we're gonna say L2 equals to, we're gonna say list 1. We're gonna use what is known as the slice operator. We can say the start position and colon, the end position should be 0, 1, 2, 3. So because we want to end at 3, we are going to tell it the end position should be 4 because it doesn't actually include the end, the last second item we specify. The second item we specify is always one more than where the index we want to end at. So if we say 4, we mean it should end at the index 3. That's 4 is the stop position, which means it counts till when it reaches 4, it stops. So it's going to count this, count this, count this, count this. It reaches it stops. You understand? So it doesn't include this in list 2. So if you print list 2, for example, we're going to see 0, 1, 2, 3, and that's just 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so if you want to extract just the first two, you can use 0, 1, you can use 3 here, no 2, because it's going to go 0, 1. Yeah, so we print list 2, you see it gives us only, it returns a list that contains. So this is called a slice operator. It slices part of this list and returns just a portion. Now we can say let's return 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's return let's return to, let me see, 7, L2. All right, we return to the end because we want to return to 6, so we're going to tell it to end at 7. You understand? So it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 does not exist, but normally it always ends one index before the end. So normally it's going to end at 7. Now, if you want Python to detect the end for you, maybe you have a very long list, you have to leave this place empty. Just tell Python I want to go to the end, and Python is going to say, all right, I'm going to compute the end for you. So you leave it empty and it's still going to give you the correct answer. If you know you want Python to always start from 0, you don't need to specify 0. Let's say we want to extract the first 5 items. You can tell Python, okay, start from 0, and because it's 0, we can leave it empty. Python, anytime we leave this first position empty, Python knows we want to start from 0. Now, if we leave the second position empty, Python knows we are looking for the end, like I explained. So if we say L1, if you said L2 should be an extract from the first to the end, from the start to the end, it means L2 is going to be a copy of list 1. So you see, here is a copy of list 1 because we say extract from the start by leaving it empty. Then we say extract till the end by leaving the second position empty. So Python extracts from the start to the end. So we can also use negative values by telling Python extract from the start up to, I told you the last item is -1. So if you want to extract till the end, maybe till this position, you can say -1 because like I told you, the last index is never included. So if you tell Python you want to extract to -1, you mean you want to end at the last item, but you're telling Python to extract till this item because it's never going to include the last index. You're telling it to stop at the last index. So the last index is not going to be part of the list return. So you say start from 0 till -1. It's going to give you, let's see, L2. You see it didn't include this last item. So let's print L1 again so we can continue from here. So here is our L1. Now let's say we want it to start from to end at -2. Of course, -2, this is the last item, this is the last but one item. So you're telling it to stop here. So it's going to return items from here to the start. So let's see, because of course we said 0, so it's starting from here and it's going to return items right up to this because we told it to, or right up to this because we told it to stop at -2. So it's not going to include -1, -2. It's not going to include this. So let's see L2. Perfect. So like I said, if you want to understand more about indexing, please watch the previous video. There I did a lot of explanation following negative indices and all that. So I'll advise you to really watch it. I think it's going to appear at the top right hand side of the screen of this video on YouTube. So it's good to watch it. Strings part 2, or just watch strings part 1 and strings part 2 so that we don't waste a lot of time in this video, because I explained the index operator perfectly in that video. That's fully and completely. So let's move on with lists. So like I said, you can also use step if you want to extract from the first to the last, or let's say it's from 0 to maybe 6, but you want it to have jumps of 2. You can use 2 because by default this is 1. That's why it moves to the next. If you want it to skip 2, you can use like this, and you see it's skipping 2. It took 2, it skipped, you see from here it took 2, it skipped this, it went to hello, skip this, went to 4, and it had to end. If you want it to move till the end, you can remove this, so it skips 2 till the end. Or you check that so that you understand what we are doing. If you don't understand, it goes to 2, it skip this, goes to this, skip this, goes to this, skip this, and goes to this. So you can see you can use this. You can use double steps if you want to start from the last item and move backward. For example, if you want to reverse this list, you can start from -1 and right to the end, but moving in the opposite direction. So you're going to have L2, which is the reverse of L1. As you can see, the first item now is the last, followed by the last but one, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this. So here is a simple way of reversing a list with a single line. So the list has been reversed. So there is a simple, those are some simple stuff when it comes to lists that I want you to understand. So let's follow the video like I'm showing you. All right, so here is a video. We have list 1 equals 1, 2, 4, false. You can see here we have a number, a float, a string, a boolean, a list, and a tuple. So we have list 2 equals to this. Now we can say print the len of list 1, it prints 7, print the len of list 2, it prints 6. You see we use len, which is an inbuilt function like we did. Print list 1, it prints out list 1, print list 2, it prints out list 2. Now we can say print list 1 -1. You see it prints the last item of list 1, which is this. Print list 1 -3, -1, -2, -3, it prints false. Print list 1 -5, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it prints 3.5. Print list 1 0, which is the first item 1, print list 1 3, which is the third item, 0 1 2 3, the fourth item 4, print list 2 5, which should be 0 1 2 3, okay, list 2 0 1 2 3 4 5, which is a string n. Let's say print list 1 0 5. Okay, here we are using the slice operator to extract from 0 to right up to the fourth, because the fifth is going to stop at the fifth, so we are going to extract from 0 to the fourth, 0 1 2 3 4. So the new list is going to have only till fours because it's 0 1 2 3 4. So we said now extract from 0 to 7 with gaps of 1. Here is the default, so even if you don't include it, it's still going to be 0 to 7 with gaps of 1. So you see here we have 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. Remember, 7 is where it's going to stop, so it's going to extract from that to the 6. It's like extracting from 0 right up to the end. So if you leave this place empty, it's still going to return this. So print list 1 0 6 3. Here we extract from 0 to the fifth index, but we have gaps of 3. You understand? So print list 1, we start from -5, 0 1 2 3 4 5. I mean, here -5 is around here. Then we move to -1, that's the start, but 1 less than the start, and then that's what we did here. So you see we started from 3.5, went to 4, went to 4, and so on. So if you don't understand, you can watch the video on strings, but here is just a brief example of how to use the index and the slice operator. So the next part we're going to look at is um, this, which is simple to understand. Now, just want to show you this. The len function can be used to obtain a number of items on a list. So you see, like I showed you, 1 and 2 are integers. We saw this already. -1, we've seen this, and I've explained this. So let's see. All right, so this so I've showed you how you can do it. So let's look at concatenation operator. So you can also add list items or pieces of list together by using list concatenation operator. For example, if you have a L1 equals to 2 4 6 8 or 7 or 8, you can use the list concatenation operator to combine these lists together. So in this video, I'm showing you how you can use, if you have L2 equals to some other kind of this, 4.5, 6.6, 5.5, true, or let's say false. Yeah. So we can add this list together, we can add this list together and we can see how it works. So if you see L3 equals to L1 plus L2, and let us print let's see L3, you see it added items in list 1 plus list 2. So just know, if you have two lists together, you can combine them together to form a new list. And even if we have L4 equals to some items in still present in list 1, 4 8 12, you can still combine the list. We can say L5 equals to L1 plus, want to know is possible, L3. Now look at L5. You see it still has, it combines plus the duplicate item. So don't think it's going to combines. You see it has 2 4 6 7 8. Then now it has plus 4 8 12. So here's the complete list. Now you can also multiply a list multiple times. For example, we have L3, which is this, L3. If you want a list, for example, L6, which is L3 times 4, we can just write L3 times 4. And look at now, L6 is 4 8 12, 4 8 12, 4 8 12, 4 8 12. So for example, you can want to create a 3 by 3 matrix. You just need to say THRE 3 equals to, you can say 1 comma 1 comma 1. Then now you multiply by 3 by 3. You can see you put THRE, you see you have 1 1 1 1 1, which is normally in the form of a 3 by 3 identity matrix. I think maybe that's the name, forgotten. But you can use list you can multiply a particular list multiple times to form a list with that list. For example, 4 8 12 here you have 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. So this is called the repetition operator, the multiplication sign, while this is called the plus sign. When you add multiple lists together, it's called the concatenation operator. So like I told you, as you can see, we use in this example here, in this example here, we did list 1 2 0 1 2, list 1 0, the first item John, list 1 negative 1, the last item, which is um, list 2 negative 1, the last item, which is 5, list 1 negative 3, the last item, which is the third position from the last, 0 1 negative 1 negative 2 negative 3. And we have print this one from the first to the fifth position. You see print mark, this is the first, 0 1 2, this is the first position. See, this is the 0 index, this is the first index, so it moves from the first index to the sixth index and ends at 4 because it moves normally to the fifth index. It does not count the 6. So print list 1 start, end, and then gaps of 2. Empty means start, empty means end here. So here we say steps of 2 from list 1. So it takes John, skips to Ibrahim, skips now to 2. So you see how it does, and then skips to false. So print list 3, we have list 3, list 4 is equals to list 2 times 3, and here is list 2. So you see print list 4, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Now here are some lists. As you can see, we have list 1 1 is equal to, so you can also do assignment. You can change the variable of a list like I showed you. For example, you can change the first index to something else, you can change the sixth index to something else, and you can change the fourth index to something else. If you print it now, you see we have changed mark to new name 1, we have changed this sixth index false to true, and we change the fourth index from 2 to 20.1. So we have text equals to blue tech empire. We can extract items using index. The sixth item is this, but you see we can't change the sixth item because strings are immutable while lists are mutable. So I just wanted to show you that. Now the next thing I want to actually show you before the end, because we are running out of time for this video, the next thing I wanted to show you is you can actually, let me show you this example. We can change items in a list like I told you. If we have let's say we have L3, yes, we can change the item in the first position by saying L3 0. You know it's 4, let's change it to something like 200. So if you write L3 now, you see we have changed it. We can even change the negative 1 index, that's the last index, negative 1 index to 200, to 200. I think, yeah, we can change it to 200. Or let's say, let's use something else. We can even change it to a string. It must not be an integer. So So yeah, that's it. There we go. So we see everything. We have done it perfectly well. We have changed the list. So you can change items in the index of a list, but you can't do with a string. So I just wanted you to notice that, because string lists are immutable. So you can even have an empty list, or let's see if you can change the index of a list that does not exist. And let's see, if you can change the index of a list. For example, the fifth index does not exist, so you can't change the fifth index. It must be an index that actually exists. For example, if you have L equals to 1 or 7 THRE, and we have L 0 1 2 2 equals to 10. Yes, let's print L2 equals to 10. L2 equals to 10. So let's look at L now. You see, we have changed the third item to 10. It was 7. We have changed it to 10. We can even change the fourth item to the third item to, or the fourth item, because normal index starts from 0 to let me say something like true. So if we put L now, you see we have changed. So you can change items in different indices of the list. So this is the first video on lists. I want it not to be very long. You can watch the second video on lists, where we are going to look at more on index operator and some methods of list. So this is the end of this video. Yeah, so see you in the next video of lists part 2. All right, thank you.